Some months like Christmas time, the trustees are busy. They don't want to show up to the sale during the holidays. So you'll see foreclosures go down, but then in January, you'll have a large group of them coming because they missed a month or two. So you might have a spike then.
Back in 2008, everybody was hot on buying foreclosures. In fact, if you go on social media right now, or if you go anywhere, you have all of these people saying how all of these foreclosures are coming back in the market. Now, I remember back in 2010, 11, everyone was saying, I bought a foreclosure, I bought a foreclosure. The same foreclosures that you were buying back in 2010 are not the foreclosures you're buying now. So we're gonna answer two questions today. Can you actually buy a foreclosure? How do you do that? Secondly, we're gonna go through the process of buying a foreclosure and answering the fact, are there more foreclosures now coming on the market? Because everyone assumes the market's crashing and we're gonna see more foreclosures. Right behind me is where the actual foreclosure auctions happen. And my guy Logan over here, Logan Fulmer, give him a quick intro, bud.
Hi, Logan Fulmer here, San Antonio, Texas, distressed real estate guy.
So whenever time I think about buying investment properties, finding stuff that's hard to find, right? This is the guy that does it. So they find foreclosures, they find pre-foreclosures, distressed properties, they make good deals and they buy them. Where the heck are we standing right now?
So we're standing at 100 De La Rosa Street. This is the courthouse, the old courthouse in San Antonio. And most foreclosure auctions happen at the first of every month, the first Tuesday of every month on the lawn outside of their courthouse if it's not inside. This is where ours happens.
So right behind us, tell us what'll happen. If it's an average foreclosure day, first Tuesday of the month, what's happening right here?
Average foreclosure day of the month, first Tuesday of every month, we call Texas Tuesdays,
Okay.
and it is a circus. And you think you're gonna show up and there's gonna be a dude like you auctioning off 150 properties? No way. You've got half a dozen to a dozen trustees. Trustees are the folks that do the selling, usually attorneys. They're spread out across here with a pile of papers, holding numbers out, bidding. People are clustered around them. Don't want to miss this house, run to that one. It's a complete circus. But ultimately, you have about half a dozen clusters of a trustee and buyers spread out.
Okay.
And that happens from 10 o'clock in the morning all the way up to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, so let's walk through how to actually buy a foreclosure right now, because everybody assumes that back in 2012, my cousin bought a foreclosure, right? What is the actual process for buying a foreclosure now?
So the process to buy foreclosure hasn't changed. It's getting tougher to do so because investors are coming in, institutional investors, and changing the values. But the same way your cousin did in 2008, he shows up with cashier's checks made out to himself, just not signed.
Okay.
And you basically bring, the way we do it is we bring a bunch of them, just like dollar bills, denominations, 50 grand, 20 grand, 10 grand, 5 grand, and a bunch of 1,000s. And you go bid and you spend them just like dollars. You endorse them, hand them to the trustee. They give you a trustee's deed. That's your house.
Well, so back in like 2011, a lot of people were just getting them from the bank. Like the bank would put a foreclosure on the MLS. And so I would see all these people getting foreclosures. I bought a foreclosure back in 2009.
From a bank.
From a bank.
So those are REOs.
Okay.
Those were a distressed asset class that the bank would foreclose on and no one would buy because liquidity was weak in the market. And the bank would end up with this massive portfolio of this, and they would have a special agent sell them all on the internet, on their website, listing services. It doesn't work so much like that these days because we have liquidity and demand in the market.
Yeah.
So they're sucked up at the auctions.
Okay. In a minute, we're going to go through and show you how to actually find and locate these properties, how maybe to buy them before you go actually to the MLS or go to the auction. So before we tell you how to actually find more of these and how to actually do the process, so that's what we're going to do here in a second, I want to ask you a question. I keep seeing everybody tell me that there's more foreclosures. Foreclosures are spiking. Like Patrick McDavid puts out a thing, 700% increase in foreclosures.
No way.
No way.
No way.
So when we're hearing these people like Reventure, all these scare tubers, right? They're scaring people into not buying homes right now and all this. Are we seeing just a mad dash of foreclosure properties?
That's simply not happening. In Bexar County, we have about 500 or so postings for foreclosures a month.
Okay.
Usually about 150 of those will actually get sold.
Okay.
Those have been very common numbers. Back when the market was bad, we were up to 700 or 800. So they're actually down from where they once were.
Wow. Okay.
Now, you might find some months like Christmas time, the trustees are busy. They don't want to show up to the sale during the holidays. So you'll see foreclosures go down. But then in January, you'll have a large group of them coming because they missed a month or two. So you might have a spike then. But average month over month, they're not changing right now.
You know, one question I have is, when when a home gets to foreclosure, what is the actual process for a home to actually get to foreclosure and to a foreclosure sale?
So that's directed by your state laws. They're different in every state.
Yeah.
Texas is what I'm familiar with because we're here. You've got about a 120-day process in Texas. There's a notice of delinquency, a notice of default.
So you stop paying, let's say April. You got
Stop paying. Technically, the lender can notice you very quickly, within about a month.
Okay.
Usually lenders don't. They'll let you go delinquent for a while. They're a little more lenient. But within 120 days, you can get your delinquent notice, your demand for default, and a foreclosure posting and a sale to happen if the lender is aggressive.
And let's say you're in that process, right? You're at 4 months, you're getting the thing, they're saying you're gonna go to auction.
Yeah.
What's one way a homeowner who wants to stop that process from actually getting to foreclosure, besides paying, right? Paying, you can pay your big fee. What's one way they can actually stop the process?
So they can apply for a loan mod, and sometimes lenders will push the foreclosure while you're applying for a loan mod. I see folks file bankruptcy just for not to lose their house. The problem is, unless they expect a windfall coming soon, that's just a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So I tell people, don't think that's going to give you your home back with no mortgage. The other thing is a temporary restraining order. That's something that came out of the family code a long time ago, and lawyers have been using to prevent foreclosures. But that's not a permanent fix either. It costs you $2,000, and you can prevent the lender from foreclosing. It just buys you a little time, a few months if you're lucky.
And a lot of times you'll come in before a property actually hits, so you're finding them distressed.
Right.
You'll actually come in and pay that so you can actually negotiate that deal.
Right. So a lot of times folks say, I'm not selling the house. And I say, look, the best time to sell this was 4 months ago when you had time. You don't have that anymore, so you're going to have to sell it or lose it. That's not up to me. If you want to deal with me, great. If you don't, I appreciate it. And it never fails. I get a dozen calls 5 days before the auction. And at that point, you don't have time to get information from the lender, negotiate a deal. It's tough.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is I'll get a contract with the seller and I'll file a temporary restraining order. And then I'll get a little bit of time to work through those mechanics.
Okay. In a second, we're actually going to show you how to actually find the postings. But after that, we're actually going to go to Logan's office and show you how he finds these deals and how you could do it too.
So in Texas, a trustee is appointed to auction property off in the property code as a representative that does it the way they're supposed to do. So lenders hire them. And here in Texas, you've got to do public notice. But one of the ways they do it is just post it on this board. This is a 100-year-old antiquated way to do it. Now, it's also online, but they got it here. So if you don't know what you're doing, don't have a lot of technology, you can literally grab the foreclosure sale. Here's the address of the property, Bluebonnet Way. This is the date of the auction, October 1st. You look through here, and here's the original mortgage recording location in the land records. And if you look down here, there's the original, $183,000 is the original mortgage. Now, we know that's been paid down because 2017 is when the original mortgage was recorded. Well, many years beyond that, we've had a lot of appreciation.
But this won't show you how far behind, well, they're obviously in the foreclosure process, but it won't show you what the fees are.
The only way you'll know how far behind they are is if you talk to them personally, which I usually go to their house first, or when you come to the auction, their opening bid, that's the magic number.
Yeah.
So this number right here isn't representative of how much they owe, but they probably pay it down for 5 years, which is usually only interest.
Yeah.
But since there's so much appreciation since 2017, let's go to Redfin and see what this thing's worth. 7346 BLUE Bluebonnet Bay. That's it. This is in a subdivision of standardized homes. Redfin's probably pretty close, $250,000, $180,000. There's probably $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 worth of equity, maybe a little bit more, but transactional fees to sell it to get to your money and repairs might mean this doesn't have any equity.
Yeah.
So a deal like this, I wouldn't touch it.
Right.
I want at least 50% equity.
Right. So, and this is what their starting bid. We don't know what their starting bid is going to be, but when this goes to auction right over here off the steps, people are going to bid that up. So that 250,
Right.
253. I mean, if you don't do your homework on it, like let's say maybe it wasn't 250, maybe it's a $300,000 home, right? But
Right.
still, if you don't do all the homework on it and you bid up to 250, you have zero equity standing out here buying it.
And here's the kicker. You might have a title defect. Now, it's a recent mortgage, which you know there's a title policy, so it's probably safe.
Okay.
But if this person got their car repoed, there's a judgment filed, you might have title issues on this. Low odds, but that's a risk.
Yeah. Interesting.
So when you buy it for half price, you can account for that stuff. But if you're buying it for 90%,
Wow. And so all of these are what's going to be coming up. The auction's here in a week.
Texas Tuesday, baby.
Texas Tuesday, right? First Tuesday of the month is when all of the
That's right.
auctions happen. Is this pretty much everything that's going to be on auction, or is there usually going to be more?
This should be everything. Now,
Okay.
in Bexar County, we have between 300 to 500 foreclosures posted every month, but only about 150 to 200 of those actually sell.
So, oh, okay. Why? Why is that?
A lot of different reasons. Folks will get a reinstatement, they'll push the foreclosure, they'll get a modification, they'll sell the property, they'll come up with the money to get it taken care of.
Okay. Right, or people like you will buy it before they go to auction.
Call them and cut a deal.
Okay.
In my case, a lot of times, I'll want to make a deal, and I tell them, look, I'm not the highest payer, no way, but I'll let you live here for the next 6 months for $1 a month. I'll pay you cash, and we'll close in a couple days. They don't care how I pay, but there's no contingencies with a loan.
Right.
So I make it real easy for it to work for them and give them something that doesn't cost me anything.
Okay. Okay. So we were just at the courthouse showing that was the way it was done, right? You'd go pick up all the pamphlets, whatever day a week, you'd find them. Now they actually have them on here.
Right.
You try not to even go to the auction because everybody's in the auction.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's so competitive, and you can't get the low purchase price anymore that you once would. But the way you can remove that competition is go to the person's house before the foreclosure happens and make a pitch. Look, you're going to sell this thing or it's going to get sold, one of the two. If you work with me, I can give you time. I can do other concessions that won't happen at an auction.
Okay. But for you that might have to actually go to an auction, let's actually show how to find them, and then show you how to find them, the ones that are coming on the auction. So
this lead source works if you're going to go buy at the auction or if you're going to buy before the auction.
Okay.
This is a county clerk website, and your big counties in Texas are all online, the deed records. Some small counties, you can't do this. You have to actually go down like we did. But in this case, this is the Bexar County deed records, real property records.
and you can do this for Travis, Hayes.
Bingo, all
Yeah.
those big ones.
Okay.
So you just get to pick what type of archive information you're looking at or public posting. We go to foreclosures. We just do a recent month or so and hit search. This is everything that's been posted in the last month. Now, some of these sales might happen the next sale date, or they might be in 2 or 3 sale dates because it's an early posting. I'm going to filter this one by sale date. These are the foreclosure postings. Document type, when it was recorded, when the sale is, and the address. Very simple. So we're going to click on one. This is the notice of foreclosure sale.
That's literally the same exact sheet we saw at the courthouse.
That's it. You've got a lot of good information on here. First off, what's happening. It's a notice of substitute trustee sale, meaning there's going to be a mortgage foreclosure.
Okay.
In Texas, it's a non-judicial foreclosure, means you don't have to file a foreclosure lawsuit like you do in California or New York. The trustee posts this because the property code directs him with the power of sale to post and sell. It's quick. We can do foreclosures in about 120 days here in Texas.
Okay.
Other states can take years.
Yeah, California, I imagine, take years.
Huge. So you've got basically the who, what, where, when, why. When the posting happened, or when the sale is going to happen, at what time, where's the location. This is the location where we went. That's straight out of property code. This is the physical address of the property. This mortgage was made 2 years ago. This is not a very old mortgage. $193,000 for 1209 West Mulberry Avenue. That was the original mortgage balance. This property will probably sell for that amount or maybe more. If they haven't made any payments or haven't paid taxes, this could be more.
That's crazy. It's such a brand new loan. It was in 2022?
That might have been a refi,
Yeah.
but
Oh, okay.
The original lien date was, March 2022.
Yeah, and then so you would just go Redfin or whatever source you have and look at the property, see if it's online.
Right, so in this case, I would put this into Redfin, just look at its general value, and if this were worth $200,000, I wouldn't look at it. If it were worth $400,000, I would say they put down a large amount and have 50% equity. There might be enough for them to take some money home and me too, so I'll go talk to them.
Okay. And so if you go back to the charts, I mean, there's a lot on here. How many of these actually make it? So the auction date is going to be what, the
First Tuesday
first,
of each
which is
month.
the 6th of this month, right? Next Tuesday. So these are the ones that so far are going to be on there.
These are all the ones that were posted in a week range.
Okay.
If we went back and filtered it for postings for a larger range, we could get them all. We could filter by sale date.
And so you can scroll through all of these just to do your due diligence on them. Hopefully, if you're going to buy them at the auction, what are we doing?
So now if you're going to buy at this is how you're going to look for it pre-foreclosure. You're also going to look for it the same way. You're going to look through the properties and see, oh, this is in a neighborhood down the street from me. I understand the values. I like 1960 houses and above, whatever makes you feel good about the deal. Then you're going to buy a book. We call it the Yellow Book. And it has a catalog of all of this information, and there are numbers that are held up by the trustee. It's an identifier number that's unique to the trustee, and it will be submitted in that book. So remember I told you there are half a dozen trustees bidding? The way you end up creating a list is the 10 properties you're interested in, might only buy one if you're lucky. You'll look at the unique identifier, the bid number, and you stand back and watch all 6 of the trustees auctioning, and when you see your unique identifier of your 1 through 10, you run over there and bid on it.
How do you buy the Yellow Book? Is it at the day of the auction?
You can buy the Yellow Book at the day of the auction, or you can buy them online.
Online.
$20.
But some of those might not even get to the auction, right?
Yeah, usually 60 to 70% of them don't actually auction. In Bexar County, we do between 300 and 600 postings a month. You'll sell between 1 to 200 a month.
Okay.
So you don't know. Like a lot of times, my 10-item list, I'd go up there and 3 auction.
Okay.
But since we're calling beforehand, I know Johnny got a refi, Jenny sold to me, this lady sold to somebody else. But we a lot of times have an idea now because we have a lot of data.
Yeah, so if you're going to go just to the foreclosure auction and take a bunch of money in a pocket, right?
Yeah.
Not physical money, but we're talking money in cashier's checks. And if you're not doing your homework like this and you're going to show up and try to buy a home,
Not happening.
It's either not going to happen or you're maybe going to overpay.
My gut says you won't know what you're buying. You probably will pay a number that you're not sure if it's a good number or not. What I would do, and this is what I did the first couple times, I just did a practice run. I'd do a shopping list, and I'd go drive all the properties the day or two before to make sure they weren't burned down or anything crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'd go to the auction and see what they would sell for, and I'd write it down, and I'd say, would I pay these numbers or not? Should I come back next month? And after a couple of months, I saw numbers. I'm like, ooh, I'd buy that. I'd have bought that. Okay. Yeah, let's do this again.
Nice. And so you're saying
practice.
So when people actually go to the foreclosure sale there, let's say next Tuesday, right? How many homes will actually be up for sale at the auction?
You'll have somewhere between 1 to 200 up for sale, but there's no way to know until you get there.
Until you get there. Because when we looked at that board on the wall, there was like maybe 15 homes.
Well, that was one. There were 15 trays that had notices in them, but there were many notices
okay.
each.
Nice.
So those notices will get posted every single day. These notices get posted at the courthouse every single day.
Yeah.
At the end of the month when the auction happens, the sheriff comes out, clears them all out.
Okay, I gotcha.
And then it starts out fresh next month.
So like for Travis County, right, how many do you see compared to Bexar County? How many foreclosures, because you probably take a look at it, how many do you see in Travis County?
So in Travis, I look a little bit more at the tax sales. Because I like a little bit more equity. You got a valuable market and some expensive stuff down there, and I don't look at the mortgage foreclosures as much anymore. At one point when I did, it was a fraction of this.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys have much more attention. You're a higher quality market, and there's much more competition.
Gotcha. So one of the other things that you do is find these that are tax delinquent, that have, what are some of the ways that you're buying or looking for delinquencies? Like what values of delinquencies?
So the mortgage foreclosure would be one way to search this. This is a very common way, and they're really good deals here. The other ways are tax foreclosures, which are posted in a similar fashion on a different website from the county. You've got multiple ownership, which you can also search in the land records. Which indicates it's an old property, may have title problems. We look that direction. You can also look up judgments and liens that affect real estate and go through it that direction. So there are a lot of different ways to sort through this. My personal favorite today is referrals.
Yeah.
We get on the internet and talk about it, and folks call us with deals that they don't know what to do with, and we help them solve it.
Nice. If you would like us to do another video talking about how to actually find tax delinquencies and all the other stuff we just talked about, not just finding foreclosures, drop a comment below because that might be fun, right?
We'll do it.
All right, there you go. All right, well, I didn't win a home at this foreclosure auction, but you can in the future. Hopefully some of these things will help you do that. Hey, by the way, I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Logan for jumping on this. I'll put his information below. They do a lot of amazing things. He actually sells courses on how to actually do this, so you can look for that in the description below. But if you haven't, like, comment, subscribe, definitely do that. And I'm gonna put socials for Logan. I think you really, really should follow Logan just in general on Instagram and what he's doing with YouTube, because he's given a lot of really good tips on how he's finding default properties and all of the above. And actually they find commercial stuff too. So find him there. We'll see you in the next video.